I am really curious to get your take on Friedrich Merz because my friends who live in Germany have a lot of different opinions about him,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
probably
it's
mostly differing opinions than I have. Because I can tell you, viewed here in Brussels, he has talked about like the savior of Europe. I mean, there was so much frustration with the previous German government,
I
the outgoing
know.
German government, and Chancellor Scholz. And Merz being so direct and basically the opposites of Olaf Scholz in every way, people are ecstatic here that Germany is back. That's the big thing
Yeah,
people are saying here in Brussels. It's not quite viewed the same way within Germany, is it?
yeah,
Especially in Berlin.
it's funny, yeah, especially in Berlin, which is a very left-wing city. I mean,
Yeah.
people think that he is just like when he made the uh, when he made the announcement in the Bundestag about migration, people were infuriated over it. People were infuriated over it, and it caused huge amounts of protests. And it didn't really go anywhere. I mean, this proposal, it didn't even pass. So people view him as, very much to the right. But if you look at it substantively, he's not very different from the Social Democrats, and he's entirely reversed himself on deficit spending, and he allowed $100 billion worth of climate spending. So it seems to me that he's a much more flexible politician than maybe most people think, and that I think he might be fairly transactional in a sense that he wants to he wanted this deal done, so he allowed $100 billion worth of spending. He reversed himself on debt and deficit. So I think he's fairly transactional. I don't know how much people have sort of that's registered with people, but like even if you're on the left, like some of the debt relaxation rules will give public employees higher salaries, or the possibility for states to give higher salaries to public employees. Like we're in a series of endless strikes, including today. So like many of the things that he's advocating for, would be good for sort of left leaning people. I just don't think that the public image has caught up because he was a corporate lawyer for 20 years.
And he definitely doesn't have a cuddly image, right? But that's
No,
why he seems kind of like the right man for the moment.
right. He's
It strikes me
unsentimental.
as kind of yeah, it strikes me as kind of an only Nixon can go to China moment. That because Merz has been a staunch Atlanticist for so long, he was
Right,
chairman of Atlantic Bridge, which is as
right,
far as Atlanticist as you can get. He's a
right,
conservative. He can say things that probably a center left person like Olaf Scholz couldn't say. That he has that people will listen more when it's somebody from the right, for better or for worse. And I think it's also that the enthusiasm here in Brussels for Friedrich Merz is just because he's been willing to say the truth in a way that almost no other sitting European leader has been willing to do. And that's because he's not sitting yet, I think. So I think the big question is going to be once he gets into the chancellery, will he be more diplomatic? He looks as a big contrast right now to Starmer and Macron going over to Washington and genuflecting to President
right,
Trump.
right.
And Merz doesn't have to do that because
Not
he's not
yet.
yet the chancellor. But once he is, I'm wondering if that's going to change.